Got to, man. Gotta bounce back. Shout out to my homie Keys, Xavier Keys, on the vocals on this. Okay. Honestly, they couldn't stop me if they wanted to. Gotta get up, go out and get it, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've been focused, I'm not hungry. Yo, I'm starving, dude. Grind mode with my team, we making these power moves. Honestly, they couldn't stop me if they wanted to. Gotta get up, go out and get it, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've been focused, I'm not hungry. Yo, I'm starving, dude. In grind mode with my team, we making these power moves. Cause I ain't got no time to be wasting with all this music I'm making. Man, I'm tired of being impatient, so I keep making these moves here with my crew. Vow to myself to always stay true, so I don't care what nobody else do. I know why. Like an erection, bumps in the road, but nah, I ain't stressing. I don't work out, but homie, I'm flexing. Every time I get on the beat and I bless it. Rise and shine, and I never let another come and stop my grind. Cause I grind all night at the gig, no lie. Then it's back in the booth for some overtime. Come on. Nope. Shout out to Miss Alma Ramos. Shout out to Miss B. I said, hey. My mom told me to get them, so I don't care what y'all say. I just keep grinding. Yeah, I stay working, cause it's, you know, I said, that's right. In the lab with a pen and a pad, let's ride. Make it look so easy, don't it make y'all mad? One thing I know, one thing is certain. I can't stop, won't stop, cause me and my team stay working. One thing I know, one thing is certain. Can't stop, won't stop, on the grind, getting mine, I'm working. No sleep. Spit heat, killing these tracks, and I'm not gonna stop till I'm up on top where I'm supposed to be. Everywhere I go, I scream SP. We more than a crew, we a family. Working trying to get a couple Grammys, G, have them sitting on top of the mantelpiece. Thank God. Go hard, they just mad cause I'm on my job. But where I'm from, I see the grind to starve. Starving, I just can't do it. Not having it, unthinkable. So I turn in and stretch Armstrong, and now I can reach the unreachable. Let's go. Hey, trying to... Yo, I said I can't sit still. I just laugh at y'all haters. Cause yeah, hey, mom's told me, so I don't. Let's go, I just keep. Yeah, I stay. Cause it's, you know, I said, that's right. In the lab with a pen and a pad, let's ride. Make it look so easy, doesn't it make you mad? One thing I know, one thing is certain. I can't stop, won't stop, cause me and my team stay working. One thing I know, one thing is certain. Can't stop, won't stop, on the grind, getting mine, I'm working. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't get what you want. Whatever you dreaming for, you get out there and you get it. You make it happen. Never mind the haters. Real spill. Cause all day, always, get them. Yes sir. I'm grinding. Stay working. Hey, I said that's right. In the lab with a pen and a pad, let's ride. Make it look so easy, don't it make you mad? One thing I know, one thing is certain. Can't stop, won't stop, cause me and my team stay working. One thing I know, one thing is certain. Can't stop, won't stop, on the grind, getting mine, I'm working. Gotta. Yes, sir. Love them.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8 o'clock a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Yes. Because that's for our guest. It's for you at home or in your office or on the third floor of City Hall or Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley, or VNA Healthcare, Old Second Bank, or West Suburban. Shouts out. That's for all of us on this collective day. It's Monday. We are ready. We're fired up. And fire is a great way to start. We have an actress. We have a mom. And we have a motivated person. And that trail of superlatives could lead to only one person, Shayla Day. Hello there. Hello. Good to see you. So how's your morning so far?
Morning's great. Typical morning, mom stuff. Put the baby on the bus and get to come out here and be a part of Good Morning Aurora. Excited.
We appreciate you. Shouts out to Mr. Antoine Hicks.
Yes.
Recon Tactical, and also a shout out to a dear friend of the show, Whitney Love.
Yes, Whitney Love.
Yep, very dear friend of the show. Shout out to Whitney Love, Nail and Beauty Bar. Go there, ladies. Get your tips. How they looking?
Yes.
Brothers, take your girl out.
Yes,
that's what you do.
I love. Yes, I am constantly at Whitney Love's Nail Salon. Shout out to Cynthia too, who always hooks me up my nails. So yes,
nice. And
love
you were here
Whitney
this weekend.
Oh, yeah, this weekend. Yes, I was.
Very cool.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about being an actress. We're going to talk about what it's like being on stage and being on the big screen and all that other kind of stuff. But it's still COVID time here in the city, but we are coming out of that. As a mom, I'd like to know from you, what's your perspective? Are we seeing that proverbial light at the end of the tunnel? Is there the confidence growing amongst people to come out and do more? And what do you think?
I think things are definitely opening up a lot more. I mean, we just look at 2020, the way 2020 was closed up.
Right.
Things are still opening up. Definitely as a mom, I'm still, I'm vaccinated, but I usually always still wear my mask. It's just everyone's comfortability with COVID. So things are definitely, I think, opening up as opposed to 2020, but I still think that we still got a little ways to go before we're just fully comfortable. With what's going on with COVID.
Well said. On this show, we promote the public safety and health and everything like that too. But yeah, the optimism is definitely there, and people are having a good time. We like to see that, but we also like to be safe. So I have one quick news topic, and then we're going to get to some good discussion here. And that is that on December 11th at 1 East Benton Street, downtown near Old Aurora Public Library, from 1 to 4 p.m., Santa Claus is coming to town, y'all. Yes, that is right. Jolly old Saint Nick will be in Aurora. I know you're thinking, doesn't he fly over the world? He coming to Aurora? Yes, that's right. Yes. Bring the kids. Many community partners such as VNA Healthcare and the Neighbor Project, the FEC. Oh man, the Aurora Public Library. All are taking part in this. There will be free hot cocoa and conchas for your culinary delight. So once again, it's December 11th, a Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. The VNA will also be on hand with health resources such as flu shots and vaccines as well. The time is now 8:04. Okay, so you went to AU. We were talking about that.
I did. I graduated from AU, went to got my master's at AU.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was in broadcasting. Is that correct?
Well, my undergrad, I went to undergrad at Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, where I also played basketball. And I went to AU. I got my master's in business.
Okay. All right. Now, how did acting start for you, or was it always there?
Acting wasn't the initial plan. It was, like I said, my undergrad, my degree's in broadcasting. I wanted to do the behind the scenes stuff. Like that was my thing, was I wanted to do the writing and the cinematography, directing, producing. That was my initial goal. I did the news in college. The news wasn't sparking my interest. I wanted to do movies. I wanted to do television. And so acting, when I moved to Aurora and was going to AU, after I graduated from AU, I started being an extra on TV and film in Chicago, and the point for me doing being an extra was I wanted to just be on set to see the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
I wasn't necessarily interested in front of the camera then.
Right.
It was the behind the scenes stuff. My
like,
first,
how they do that, man?
right? That was me. I was like, I'm on set, like all this, and my first time being an extra, I was The Dark Knight, the Batman movie.
Oh, awesome!
I was a police officer on The Dark Knight, so I'm sitting, Heath Ledger's there, Gary Oldman's there, and I'm just watching all of this and behind the scenes. But then the more I started to do it and being an extra, I was like, okay, this, acting is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. So I just started studying and learning more about it. And I started to find that I actually kind of like acting. I kind of want to pursue this. So just years and years, I was an extra. I probably did extra work for about 6 years.
What was the biggest benefit of the extra work? Because you're watching, but you still have to do your
right.
Role.
Right. So, being an extra is, you're in the background. But I think for me, it was the connection. Because I made so many friends. I met so many other aspiring actors and actresses while being an extra. That was the biggest thing, was the connections.
Right.
And, other extras, and everybody else working toward eventually becoming speaking lines. So being an extra was learning the terminology, because, being on a set, there's so much terminology you have to learn. Yes, exactly.
The key grip.
The key grip, the best boy. And,
Right.
back to one. And, all the terminology and the connections, meeting people.
Right.
Is a big part of it.
So The Dark Knight, that was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Holy cow. Yes. That was a really good movie.
Yes.
Do you ever speak to, so you went from extras, you don't always get a speaking role as an extra?
No. Okay. Extra is not, no speaking roles with extra. You're just, you're in the background.
Right.
In the background. It's, a big difference between extra and speaking. Okay. But extra, I mean, I definitely encourage anybody, if you're interested in just learning with how things work, be an extra on a film or a television set. It'll definitely get hands-on of seeing how everything. But there's a big journey from, extra to speaking role. It's definitely a big journey.
Wow. Let's talk about that journey. What did that entail? Was there a role that you really wanted and you went for it, or were you just trying to get speaking?
I probably made all the mistakes that you can make as an actor, going from, because you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when you decide you want to be an actor, and you get into your head, okay, I'm going to be an actor today, and then tomorrow I'm going to book this, and I'm going to do all this.
Right, Denzel, watch out.
Yes,
yeah.
Doesn't work that way, though. Doesn't work that way. It's, I made all the mistakes. I signed with my agent. My agent actually turned me down the first time I auditioned for her. But she thankfully gave me, like, hey, your headshots aren't where they should. You need new headshots. You need to do this. So a lot of agents won't do that. So I took everything that she said and said, okay, I got to do this. And then a year later, I went back. I had all my stuff together, auditioned for her, and then I my agent. So it's from extra to speaking role, there is a whole lot that goes on as far as I use the example a lot of, like I said, I was an athlete. Today I wake up and say I want to be a pro athlete. Tomorrow I'm not going to enter the draft. Tomorrow I'm not going to go pro.
Right.
There's a whole lot that's got to go on in between. Right. Or today you wake up and you want to be a doctor. You're not going to go start operating on people tomorrow.
Right.
There's a whole lot that's got to take place in between. And that's the same way with acting. You wake up and say you want to be an actor today. You're not going to go win an Oscar tomorrow. You know what I mean? You're not going to go and book all this and be on this show, this. There's a whole lot that has to take place in the middle.
Right.
A lot of work.
And a lot of people, but it seems like the perception that it is that easy is what prevails.
Right.
Like people think
right.
that all I got to do is just knock out my little Pinocchio in my high school,
right?
And then it's going to be big screen.
Yeah.
And it can be somewhat frustrating, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. I made the same mistake. When I first started at the beginning, I want to be an actor, and then I'm thinking tomorrow I'm gonna go out tomorrow, I'm gonna get an agent, I'm gonna book this. It doesn't work that way. It's it's a lot of training involved. There's a lot of I made the mistake of doing it. But years and years of learning. It's definitely very frustrating. I booked my first co-star on the show. I booked Empire, season 2 of Empire, and that was, season 2 of Empire. I was a co-star, and that was in 2015. And I didn't book another co-star until I just booked Chicago Fire. So that's a 6-year window of audition after audition after audition, and it took me 6 years to book my next. And it can be like that. It can be that frustrating. And like, why am I doing this? What am I doing wrong? All of my friends are booking this, and they're on this. What am I doing wrong? So I had to go back and readjust and make some changes and go back to class and train and update my headshots, get new looks. And throughout that 6 years, I went back and did theater, did some more theater. So acting it's frustrating. It's one of those that you definitely have to love it.
Seems like you did because you stuck with it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what it means right there.
That's what it is. That's that's the big part. I tell a lot of people that don't become an actor because you want to be famous. You become an actor because you love it. Because there's, you know what I mean? There's a million other ways, That's what I tell people all the time. There's a million other ways to be famous. Don't be an actor. If you're trying to be famous, you need to try to do some of the other
there you go.
ways to be famous, because there are a ton of just working actors that aren't famous, but they're working.
Right.
That's their career, is acting. And,
because they love it and have a passion for it.
They love it and they're passionate for it.
Oh, good morning, Vanessa Gaddy, Minerva. Good morning, Minerva. We interviewed Minerva on Buenos Dias, Aurora. She is a fantastic woman, friend of the show. Norma Peterson, good morning to you as well. Aisha Saxon, what's happening? Good morning, Aurora. Another Monday, so let's get it. Ali Hernandez, friends. Josie Mendoza Geller, Gloria Gerardo, Cruz. The chat is lit. It's too many of y'all right now. I'm going to come back to that. Monica, if you would be so kind, can you please take us to a commercial and give us a couple of quick joints?
Good morning and happy Monday. Here are the local headlines. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our content. There you can also watch all of our interviews and receive notifications when we go live. And I'll be sharing that link with you all on our chat. Saturday the 20th, there will be a Know Your Rights Forum from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Sacred Heart Church, located at 755 Fulton Street. Representatives from Family Focus, the LCLAA, and World Relief will be there to answer questions regarding immigration. Hosted by State Representative Barbara Hernandez, Alderwoman Juany Garza, and our friends Ana Casildo Cuevas. Registration is required for this helpful event. You can call 630-256-3020 to do so. A free caregiver seminar will take place on November 30th from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Enjoy motivational speaker and renowned author Loretta Vini in a conversation called Moving Caregivers from I Give Up to I Got This. This seminar, sponsored by Age Guide, Alzheimer's Association, and AARP, will present tools that every caregiver needs to thrive with confidence. The link to register I'll be sharing on our chat. The third session of the Citizenship Exam Preparation Group will be this Wednesday, November 17th, and followed by Thursday, November 18th. Both sessions will be from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. in room 126 at the Centauri Library. For more information, call 630-264-4117.
More news for you guys. All right, we are back. Hello at home. So the word of the day also is taught. T-A-U-T. The word of the day is taught. I'll be sure to use that in a sentence if I can interject with it at some point in time before the show ends today. All right. So the passion for acting is where we left off before the news. So being an actress now, do you critique movies and other scenes when you watch? And is there a basic tenet or form that you need to have when you're acting? Are there like some basic pillars of acting?
There's so many different techniques, so many different teachings.
Okay.
When it comes to acting, I've been fortunate. I have awesome teachers at I've been training at a Vagabond School of the Arts. And also going to be working with some other acting coaches going forward. It's just like with everything. There's different teachings, different acting teachers have their philosophy that they abide by. When I'm watching film and television, I mean, I think you're instinctively you're watching it and just like, okay, I probably don't do it like that. But I've gotten to where I watch a lot of actors to learn. A lot of acting is reacting. I think a lot of people are so focused on, hey, all you do is memorize lines when you get to say them. There's
if only
it was that simple. If only it was that simple. There's
right.
so much more to it,
right.
And that comes with training. You know what I mean? And just like I said, I became a great basketball player from training. You become great at what you do from training. By training, you go and learn from the vets. You go and learn from the veterans. Even veteran actors who've been acting for decades, they still train.
Right. It's
always constant training to get better at your craft.
What's the most difficult thing for beginning actors to learn? Is there a comment? Because you mentioned about looking at things in hindsight.
Right.
So what were those kind of hindsight moments like, I never should have told Denzel to get my hamburger? Like what was the...
I think for beginning actors, and I'm just going back from my experience,
sure.
It was learning patience. I think we are so ready to get to the finish line without starting and going through the race. Like we're so focused on, man, like I said, I had 6 years in between bookings. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. Patience, I think, is the biggest thing, because I have beginning actors that they ask me about starting in acting, and they're coming to me, never done any acting before. Hey, how I get an agent? Hey, how I get on that show? I was like, oh, slow down. There's a process that
right.
you have to go through first. So I think patience is the biggest thing when it comes to beginning actors, understanding that, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint to acting.
Okay. Now in that same vein, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine a couple days ago, actually. This was about a couple questions about our show and everything. So I lived in California for a good number of years, and there was a lot of aspiring actors out there. A lot of the people that I met in San Diego weren't from California. They were from Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
New York, Boston. They all packed in their Saturn and drove to make it big.
Right.
Didn't happen. So now they Ed DeBevics or whatever the case may be. It seems like now in 2021 things have changed. Nobody is really... You got to be lucky to be bagging Brad Pitt's groceries.
Right.
And for him to be like, yo, you should be in my next movie. It doesn't happen like that no more. So I say that to say the question is has social media had any role in the perception that it's easier to get in and get on than it used to be? Has it done anything to the collective conscious to make people think that it is that simple? Has social media had a role in that?
I don't know if I necessarily say possibly, because and I look at my experience. When I was starting out, it was before the whole big social media thing, and I kind of had that perception of, oh, I can just do it just like this.
Right.
But I think social media has kind of made it to where everybody wants to be social media famous. Everybody wants to be, likes and be famous.
That's all it is.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. So as far as the perception of acting being easy with social media, yes and no, because I kind of had that mentality when I first started, that it's just, all right, I want to be an actor. All right, I'm about to go out and do all this, and that was before social media.
Right.
So I think it's just maybe acting in general. People kind of have that perception of, it's just all you do is get up and say some lines. I can go do that just like this.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, all you're doing is saying lines. I can do that. How easy was public speaking for you?
Oh, starting, I wasn't good. I wasn't big on public speaking. I wasn't good at public speaking. I think I was more, like I said, I initially wanted to do the behind the scenes stuff. I wasn't interested in being on camera. But as I did it more and more and got more comfortable, and I never thought I would ever do stage. I never thought I would ever do theater, because it's like theater, you're right there they're right there. They're looking at you.
Right.
They see everything.
And it's
so
judgment
yes.
status. Right.
Theater used to terrify me. I was like, I'm never going to do theater. I'm scared to do theater. But now, I absolutely love it. I love doing theater now. And I've gotten more comfortable, over the years. Now I can get up and talk. I can get up and get on stage and perform.
What was the most rewarding theater experience that
Ooh, I was Harriet Tubman last year. Thankfully, we got to get the shows out. It was right before everything shut down for COVID. And I got to star as Harriet Tubman. And we had schools from all different areas in Georgia and kids. So, it's kids. I'm playing a historical figure. And thankfully, shout out to my friend who was the writer-director, Kimberly D. Garrett. The way she wrote it was amazing, to where the kids were so engaged in the show. Like I said, I'm a historical figure. I didn't know, these were younger kids, elementary school kids. And then it was like after the show, I was coming out, I was still dressed up, still had my wardrobe on. And the kids were just like, oh my God, you were amazing. Can I have your autograph? Oh
what a feeling.
It was like, oh my gosh, wow. And, they're asking for my autograph and they're asking me questions about Harriet Tubman and taking pictures with me. So that was probably the most awesome theater experience. The kids, they got to come out of leave school to come, specifically for our production. And the theater was filled. And that was probably the most rewarding, just the kids, really engaged in the show.
And that also, I think, speaks to representation. Feels good when one can see themselves.
Right.
In that.
Right.
Hey, yeah, I can be Spider-Man too.
Right.
Miles. Do that. That's right. You can be Spider-Man. You can be. Okay, the time is now 8:22 a.m. Good morning, Tracy Duran. Emily, good morning to you. And Cruz Ocho, good morning to all of you guys at home that's now tuning in. We are here with actress Shayla Day. You may have seen her on Chicago Fire. That was the most recent filming. Okay.
Most recent.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that. How did it go? And what was your role?
My role, I was in the opening episode of Fire. I played a factory manager, and one of my workers was trapped in a shrink wrapping machine. So, we're all trying to get him out, and the firefighters come in, and I'm telling them, hey, he was not supposed to be doing this. And then I'm directing the firefighters to the service box tower.
Okay. All right. How now, was it a strenuous day in acting? Take us through a typical day. What is it like? How does it start, and then what happens?
Get there, go to my trailer. They already have I've already had a fitting. And prior to that, because, with COVID, everything, I had to take 2 COVID tests before I could pass 2 COVID tests before I could even shoot. I had already been to wardrobe, so they already had my sizes. So get to set, go to my trailer, get dressed. They brought me breakfast, and after I was dressed, went to hair and makeup, got ready, and then go back and relax a little bit in my trailer until they come get me.
You get your own trailer?
Yeah, your own trailer. And
yeah, I know y'all at home like I want a trailer too, dog.
Right. So then it's just going back, go to set, and we have a green room for the cast. So I'm in the in the green room with all the rest of the cast for Chicago Fire, and chit chat and everything until time to go on set. And long day, but long tiring day, but I love it.
Now, this is an NBC production.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is NBC the only or first major network that you worked with?
Fox was when I did Empire.
Fox. Okay,
yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, Fox.
Yeah.
Was there any difference between the two? And are there differences that you can tell as an actress when you're working with different networks?
Not really.
Okay.
Empire was 6 years ago. That was it's a pretty similar experience. The cast of Chicago Fire, awesome, amazing, great cast, great crew. It was a great day. So there wasn't really a huge difference. Thankfully they treated me pretty well. Having a chance to see my name in the credits, it's always awesome experience.
As an extra, you're not in the credits?
No. No,
Okay.
because extra, you're not,
Right.
no speaking parts or anything. Extra, you're just,
Yeah.
you're in the background to make
Right.
it, because extras make it look more authentic.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm a factory manager, so we have to have factory workers in the scene to make it
Right.
look more authentic. Yeah.
Okay. Now y'all saw that? Y'all saw that? I'm not gonna give you 2 words of the day, but that was a subtle difference between the two, right? Y'all caught that. When you're an extra, you're not in the credits. Okay.
But
you learn a lot as an extra.
Extras are a huge part of the production too. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's, like I said, I've been an extra. I've been a co-star, but extras are a huge part of the production as well.
Nice. Monica, if you would be so kind, take me to a brief commercial, y'all, because I have something to tell you about lights. And Aurora's a city of lights.
Mm-hmm.
That's our name. The reason why Aurora's a city of lights is because we are the first city to have successfully had bringing electric street light. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the kids like that. Which at the time was so revolutionary and groundbreaking. There's old photos of Aurora being the most bright thing around.
Oh, wow.
How about that? In regards to being the most bright thing around recently and now, Fox Valley Mall is holding a immersive experience coming up here. According to Fox Valley Mall General Manager Scott Sampson, with more than 1 million lights, the drive-through holiday display that has opened in Fox Valley Mall will be hard to miss. He hopes that it won't prove a distraction for pilots flying to O'Hare Airport and about that. Along with the host of other Aurora dignitaries, Let It Shine is the drive-through holiday theme lights display, and that's following up Dino Safari that appeared in the same space during the summer. I had the pleasure of interviewing one of the gentlemen associated with, he was one of the engineers on the Dino Safari project, and it was really cool. That episode is on our YouTube channel. A total of over 1 million lights, all synchronized to music, greets visitors. And that's open, and it'll go until January 9th. It's open daily from 4:30 to 11:30 p.m. All right, very cool. And also, lastly, this is a quote that I just love, so I'm going to share it with you. Aurora Chief Communications and Equity Officer Clayton Muhammad said the attraction is significant for the city on a number of levels. Quote, "We're coming at this from a couple of different angles, including the overall holiday concept. We're the city of lights, so we love light shows and that holiday spirit. We've had long-standing light shows from all over, and now you see the expansion. It's a large city, 46 square miles, and provides families an opportunity to have different experiences." Closed quote. Awesome. Okay, so now back to our discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite movie?
Ooh. I don't know if I have a favorite movie. I don't think I have a favorite movie. I like a lot of different movies.
Is there one that sticks out? One that you think was a great production and watch it?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I have to think about that one.
Okay. Do you have a favorite actress or actor?
I absolutely love, I'm a big fan of Taraji P. Henson. Just, and I had had the opportunity to be in a scene with her.
Really?
Yeah, when I did Empire, my scene and my line was to her. So I love her and I love her story. Just I've been able to watch her up close,
Yeah.
and, in person, and I've watched a lot of her film, and I've kind of studied her technique, and she's awesome at improv too. So she's somebody that I like to watch and like study. I've sat and watched. I've watched and rewatched Empire. I've watched and rewatched a lot of her things, just studying her. I love her, and Viola Davis. and Angela Bassett. I love.
Angela Bassett.
Yes. Angela Bassett is the reason why, I absolutely love American Horror Story, because I didn't even watch American Horror Story until I found out. Oh, Angela Bassett is in it.
Yeah.
So now I've seen every season of American Horror Story. So they are the actresses that I like to watch and rewatch their work, just watching their technique, studying what they do.
So for a long time, I briefly mentioned this a little bit earlier in the conversation. For a long time, representation in movies and film was either non-existent for actors of color, actors and actresses of color, or the roles were, we will settle for the moment on the word demeaning. Has it gotten better? What do you think?
I think we're seeing so many more as far as representation behind the camera now, where they can make the stories and tell the stories to have the representation in front of the camera. You're seeing so many, writers and directors, and producers of color now behind the camera, making those films and making those movies.
That helps.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Tyler Perry is someone who I think has really, not to, Spike Lee will be always Spike. He'll always be Spike Lee. I think Tyler Perry really revolutionized, or he gave a shot in the arm to that. And I think that Tyler Perry is the person who kind of propelled that and made it sustainable going forward.
Tyler, I think for me, Tyler was brilliant at, I know who my audience is, so I'm going to make the work because I know who my audience is and I know what my audience wants.
Right.
He was brilliant at that. I followed Tyler Perry since 2000, 2001, back when he was doing stage play. He was the one that was brilliant at, I don't care about winning an Oscar. I don't care about this. This is my target audience. My target audience says they want this, so I'm going to make this for them. And now look where he is now.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was brilliant at, I know what they want, and I'm going to give them what they want.
Right. Now, with that, and when you're auditioning, depending on the role that you're auditioning for, I'm sure, and all these questions are from a novice. I've never auditioned. But I'm guessing that there are some roles that you may just not be able to pull off. Is that a credible thought in your mind when you're auditioning? Or are you always trying to knock out the park? Is any role possible?
I am always trying to knock out the park. You know what I mean? And if I have the audition, that means that the casting saw something and they want to see more of me. So, they saw my headshot, they saw my resume, they saw, any of my clips, and, they saw something that to where they want me to audition for that role. So I'm going to give everything that I
Gotcha.
For that role.
I'm here for a reason.
Right. They wanted to see me, so they are going to see me.
Is there a role that you want to play? Is there a role that you are waiting to play and knock out the park? Do you have a dream role? Is there man, I want to.
I had a Zoom audition yesterday, and casting was asking me about roles and everything, and I said I am open because I am open to roles because variety is fun. Variety is fun. Doing different things is fun. So
hell yeah,
it is. It really is. I think a lot of actors. I love television. Hopefully, I want to keep doing. Definitely want to keep doing television films, and I would love to be a series regular on it, where I'm on this show every single week, just to be part of the central cast. But I'm so open to. I just love acting. You know what I mean? I love acting.
What did you dislike about the news?
The news is too. The news is just too stoic. It's just too. I'm sitting here and I was on when I was at Ole Miss, I was a anchor for our news station, and it was just I'm reading off of the teleprompter, and engaging with my co-anchor, and it was just
Boring.
It was, I mean, lack of better words. The news was just not,
Right.
It wasn't for me.
it?
I was having more fun, because I doing the behind the scenes stuff because we had to do news packages and report news, and I got to go out and report news. I got to get news, and I got to put the package together, and it just wasn't. It wasn't working for me.
What was your position? You were the coach or the captain of the team playing basketball?
Oh, I was on the team. That's how I got to Ole Miss. I had a basketball scholarship, full scholarship. What did
being an athlete teach you, or take any of that with you?
Like I said before, I became a great basketball player from training, and that's how I look at acting. I want to become a great actor from training and work ethic. Work ethic as well. I was, playing. I was in the SEC in Division I basketball, so that is work.
Right.
Juggling, being a student athlete. So basketball and just the discipline of training, it really kind of correlated to life as work ethic. It was huge, yeah.
Addie Rubio, Maria Chorito, Casildo, Casey Cuevas. Good morning to all y'all out there. Cheers them up, cheers them up. Monica behind the boards, yes, cheers them up. Here we are here, and so are you. And this is a fun discussion. This is a fun discussion because and again, I'm sorry my questions are kind of crazy, but I like the human experience. That's like I've always read actresses interview. Like I kind of like how you like to see what was behind the scenes on the set.
Right.
I was always interested in like, who are these people? When Arnold's done playing Terminator, right?
Right.
What's next after that? You done killed 100 people. What's next after that? And that fascinates me. One of the things I've also been fascinated by is that I have liked and I've always respected the moving parts in it. And I like also behind the scenes as well. I like the moving parts.
Right.
I know that it takes a team to get that production. And since doing this, I've had a better appreciation for it.
Yes.
I've had that 5 minutes of footage is like 8 gigabytes.
Right.
Like you got to edit that. So that is insane. I really respect it.
It being on a huge production, you got tons of crew members. And then, I was in a very short, my scene was very short in Chicago Fire in the opening scene, but it was about a 12-hour day because, we got to shoot it, then we got to get this angle, then he's got to get a close-up of me, got a close-up, then, it's just constant, a long day. There's so many people involved. Like when I first stepped on the set for The Dark Knight, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, all these people, all these crew members, and all the actors, and yeah, it's a lot of moving parts.
New Madrid, Missouri. Wilma Rodriguez, good morning. Bianca Camargo, good morning. Good to see you, Judge. Hey. And Mary Perez, good morning. Madrid like?
It is country. I am a country girl from the country.
Okay.
New Madrid is, my hometown is about 3,300 people. We're about 2 hours north of Memphis, about 2.5 south of St. Louis. So we are at called the Boot Hill. It's the bottom, southeast Missouri. So I am a country girl from the country originally, but I have been, it's like I was just thinking about it today. I've been living up here for almost 20 years now.
It's a long way.
Long way from the country. Yes.
That's quite inspiring, and I'm glad to hear you had that story. That's very inspiring. That's good. I think that's so as we were kind of talking before the camera started rolling, like everybody's got a story,
right?
Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's got a story, and being in Aurora for a long time. I was meeting all these people. Like that is an incredible story. That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Small. There's probably been more people that you dealt with on a day than the whole town population.
Oh yeah.
And I think the more young people who can hear something like that, the better off the world will be.
Because it was big. I mean, even for me, like I from New Madrid, small town, and then I went to undergrad at Ole Miss,
right.
University of Mississippi. So Oxford, it was only like 10,000 people. So from there, when I moved to Aurora, and I mean, Aurora was huge to me. Like it was just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I was just shocked. I remember when I first moved here, I was scared to drive on the expressway because I'm not used to all of it.
Real fast, like
right.
Whoa.
Now I've been here so long, it's nothing.
Right.
But definitely a culture shock when I moved to Aurora. Like I've never lived in a place this big before.
Now, how'd you meet Mr. Hicks?
Oh, and I've known Antoine I met him through my cousin. So that was. Man, I've known Antoine maybe 15 years now.
All right, it's 8:40 a.m., ladies and gentlemen, and this is the moment where Monica goes to class. But as we always do when Monica goes to class, we like to let her know that we appreciate her time and hard work very much. Monica, have a fantastic day today. All right. Okie dokie now. This is kind of like on the news. I always have that moment where I'm like, we're back but we're not back. We didn't go nowhere really. All right. So the time is now 8:41 a.m. You guys are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And I would be remiss right now, actually, if I didn't tell you one more quick piece of information. This is local, so it's going to be very important here coming up. Soap Island Social. We told you guys about this on Thursday and Friday of last week. This also goes to our downtown restaurants, openings, and business. So pay attention, guys. Soap Island Social, the Amy Morton-owned restaurant in downtown Aurora, right next to the Paramount, is looking to open up on the 19th of November. They came to town, but they've been closed for 18 months now. This is due to the pandemic, so it goes on. Ready to open earlier this year at the same time the Paramount Theater next door reopened, but the Delta variant came. Now, going back to months ago in Good Morning Aurora, actually, we had told you guys about the Delta variant and its spread, and there was an article in the Beacon at that time that was talking about the hiatus, Hiatus, that was placed on many businesses, and there was a brief shutdown of stuff happening at the Fox Valley Mall. But Amy Morton is also hiring. She's paying about 30% more for cooks, up to more than $20 an hour, and she has 100% paid preventative insurance and a $100 transportation allowance as well. So Soap Island Social is hiring. Check it out. And they're looking to open up on the 19th. The time is 8:43 a.m. Okay, so let's talk the work-life balance. Parent, but how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Family. I've been fortunate. The babysitter or something. Family.
Mm-hmm.
Family has definitely been important. A family that is very supportive. Cheerleader. Cousins, friends are, my biggest cheerleaders. So I've been fortunate to have great family, awesome friends.
Do you ever think that you would have been able to continue without that strong support, a strong sense of family?
Probably not. I think I just have a lot of people that are like my cheerleaders. Like I've had my friends that knew, friends and family that knew, I'm gonna be on Chicago Fire. They're sharing it, they're posting it, they're telling it. So when you have people, and also my acting friends, we are all just real supportive of each other. Like, I think that's been a huge part of having people that cheer you on. Because there's, like I said, during that 6 years in between, nothing, like there's plenty of times I'm like, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
But when you see, you got friends and family like, girl, you got this. Girl, you're good. You're awesome. You're amazing. You can do this. That makes a big difference.
Have you worked with any great directors, or are there any that you remember? Oh,
Like I said, working with Empire was awesome, and Chicago Fire, the directors of those episodes that I've done were absolutely. I've been fortunate with theater. One of my good friends who's also, directed a lot of the productions I've been in. Friend Kimberly D. Garrett, who's awesome, always.
Right.
Yes.
Harriet Tubman.
Yes, she wrote Harriet Tubman, and I've also been in other stage productions that she's written. So having her support and constantly, cheering me on and always thinking of me for her productions has always been huge. So she's been an awesome director to work with for theater.
Okay. You also mentioned Vagabond School of the Arts.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Where is that located? And
that's in Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago has become such a huge, as far as film, television, always been huge with theater. So I train a lot at Vagabond. There's a lot of other acting schools in Chicago too. So, I'm always going to act with Vagabond for training, and I love Vagabond.
How do you train? What's the training like? Is it like push-ups and then get in front of the camera?
Right. I mean,
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Right.
Like,
it kind of feels that way. Vagabond really has prepared me for, as far as the audition process, as far as the actual training, having the experience of on set.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of workshops, and I'm going to be coaching with an acting coach pretty soon too. It is just going over technique, going over what to expect, if you have an audition, going over breaking down a script, going on analyzing the characters, analyzing the scenes. What does this character want to do? It's just a lot of breaking down that script, breaking down this character so that you can be prepared to go out there again.
Okay, breaking down the script.
There's so many classes to become better at every aspect of acting. So I want to absorb every ounce of information. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's the same way as when I train for basketball.
Right.
I want my jumper to be better. I got to go out there and work on my jumper. I got to work with a coach to get my jumper better.
What were some of the things that you were specifically working on? Were they things like delivery that you weren't? I assume you're doing all training of all kinds to be good, but just on a personal level, like what were the key things that you identified?
Learning to be comfortable. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Comfortable with, auditioning, and comfortable with taking on this character. Shout out to Robin Coffin, who was my teacher. It was like once I went back to train, it was like a few weeks later I ended up booking Chicago Fire.
How great.
Learning.
How good.
I had to go back. I updated my headshots. Got new headshots, got new looks, and then I had to go back and I had to change something because it was like I have 6 years of audition, and nothing. Something's got to change. I'm missing out on something.
How do you find a good agent?
Research. But let me disclaimer: no agent is going to come to you and want you to pay them to represent you. If you come across that, you should not be paying an agent to represent you. I think a lot of people don't know about a reputable agent is not going to say, "Hey, you got to pay me some money before I represent you."
Okay, good to know.
That's the big disclaimer. For me, it was learning to go to look for an agent when I was ready. I had to get my headshots had to be on point. I had to have my training on point. I got to have, actually have done acting. I think people are quick to run out and want an agent before they're ready for the agent. Like an agent, you know what I mean? You and your agent are partners in this.
Right.
An agent needs you to be ready so that they can submit you, because the end goal is you to get that role, and then, everybody benefits.
Right.
So before you can become an actor, you have to act. You can't be a basketball player without playing basketball. And before you start, hey, I want to be an actor, how do I get an agent? All right, slow down. Are you acting?
You're already coming out the wrong way. Right.
You trying to get to this step, you starting here and you're trying to get here, and you didn't do none of the stuff that's in the middle. So, before you're ready to get an agent, you got to, are you acting? Are you training? You got the professional headshots. What are you doing before you can actually go to the agent and present your materials like, hey, can you represent me? Are your materials, are you on point? Have you been doing any acting first? But there's a million trillion opportunities. Everybody's looking for actors. Somebody has a production going on that they need some actors. Some student has a film that they need some actors. With these iPhones and everything today, you can make your own web series. You know what I mean? You can make your own opportunities. Are you writing anything? So before you even get to that point, what are you doing right now? So
dropping some jewels on this show.
This is from years of me making the mistakes.
Right. No.
You know what I mean?
Of course,
I was that person, back then. After I was an extra on one production, and I'm thinking I can go out and get this. I had to take years of learning. There's some steps that's got to take place before you can get to the end goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we have the venue here downtown on Broadway. We've got a pretty thriving and good scene of arts here in Aurora, and we got a lot of friends of the show who watch, and they've done productions and things like that. So like we were talking about, we have people here on the local level who can benefit from just that little basic piece of information.
And that's what I've been doing. When I was trying to audition, I was all in the Joliet Theater. I've been doing all the doing productions in Joliet, stage. So it's continuing even now. Even though I have an agent, I'm still training. I'm still submitting myself. I'm still working on other projects. I'm not just sitting around waiting for my agent to text me and say, hey, I got something for you. No, I'm still working to make things happen for myself as well.
So yesterday was a virtual casting, you said?
Yeah, I had a Zoom audition because right now a lot of things, COVID.
Sure.
So right now, not a lot of casting directors. I think may only be one. Everybody is pretty much doing self-tapes now. Accepting self-tapes, which is you record your audition at home and then you send it to the casting director. That's pretty much what what's going on right now because of with COVID and everything. There's not a lot of you go to the casting agency office and in-person audition because of COVID. A lot of people they're requesting you do the audition and then you submit it.
Is that how do you feel about that? You like it the old school way, the typical way, or does it even matter?
It I kind of like the self-tape. I've done in person too. I know a lot of actors prefer in person just because you got you have somebody right there, the casting director's right there, and you can feed off of the casting director. With the self-tape, I have the option of I do my self-tape, I can watch it, and okay, all right, let me do it again. You have the option of redoing it if you need to before you submit it. So. I booked with the self-tape. I've booked an in-person audition, so I've done both. It's just right now with the times,
Right. Speaking of the times, it's 8:52 a.m. Oh, our friends of the show. Let's see here. Anna says yes. Shouts out. Cheryl Brownell, good morning to you. Everybody's saying have a great day at school for Monica, who just left us. So I think as we kind of get towards the, I feel that when I watch, and just from watching TV and film and movies, what have you, I look and certain people have played certain roles, and I think some are better than others. There's been a bunch of Batman, for example. Michael Keaton was the first, besides the TV show, Adam West. Michael Keaton, and then Christian Bale. And all that kind of stuff. So my question for you is, are good actors born?
I think,
even with your experiences and everything that you've kind of learned.
I use a lot of sports analogy just because I'm a former athlete. People are born, great athletes, but you don't become a great basketball player without training and playing basketball.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? You look at Michael Jordan, was a great athlete, as a kid, but it took years and years and years of training before he became the greatest. You know what I mean?
And who we talk about now, who we know is to be the man. Yeah, he's spoken of. Right.
He wouldn't have, he would not have become who he was without training. Like, he got cut from high school basketball team. You know what I mean? if he never trained ever and ever, he would not have been the basketball player that he is
Would have
today.
ended right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Same way with acting. You can be born, you're born, talented, but it takes years and years of training with anything, not even, sports. With anything, it takes years and years of training to be great.
So you've mentioned Kimberly DeGarrett and a couple of things now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the art scene like in Joliet? How is it down there?
It's just like COVID. So much got shut down with COVID.
Right.
Everything is still, still opening back up.
Okay.
So in Joliet, everything is just starting to slowly pick back up.
What's the theater out there that you mentioned, I believe?
I performed at the Billy Leemacher Bicentennial Theater.
Hey, I'm gonna look that up.
Like I said, everything's still, with COVID, everything's still trying to open back up.
Okay. I like hearing about productions about Harriet Tubman and things like that. Man, we could y'all ain't too far from us. We'll shout that out sometime. Give some life to that.
Oh yeah, hopefully, 2022, hopefully I'm dying to get back on stage. So I'm hoping in 2022 I can get back on stage.
Is there anything that you've got lined up that you can share with us? Are there any future roles that you already got booked and you're gonna do that you can?
I have a couple of short films
Okay.
2022. So right now we're just having, the meetings right now. So short films, I've been auditioning a lot for commercials lately. So I'm just hoping and training. I got a coaching session in a couple of weeks with the coach. So it's just training never stops. So yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. We'll see you on Super Bowl time. Y'all know what it is.
hoping.
Try these nachos.
Right. I'm hoping. Hey, let's go.
All right. What have you learned about like media and advertising and marketing?
I mean, they're important. They're definitely important. Actors talk a lot about, building our brands, building our names. I mean, the world is social media. Building a good presence,
Right.
contacts, relationships.
Where can people find you on social media?
I am at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Shay Day Actress.
Shay Day Actress.
Shay Day Actress
Okay.
on all my social media. Follow me. Questions, you can hit me up.
Y'all heard that. Shay Day Actress.
Yes.
Follow her on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Twitter is difficult for me.
I'm not on it as much. I'm really, there's times I've kind of forgotten I have Twitter.
Right.
I'm here and there. I'm not as active on Twitter.
Right.
I'm trying to do more, be more active.
Yeah. I mean, it's only so many characters. I got a lot to
Exactly.
say. I can't express myself with just
Exactly. That's why I don't
5
either.
lines. That's it.
I might share some news about what I'm going on here and there, but I'm trying to do more with Twitter. I got to get more active with Twitter.
All right. My last question for you before we go is, do you have an iconic line? Or is there a line that you said in all of your time being an actress that you're like, that was that? Do you have, does Shayla Day have her "you can't handle the truth" moment? Do you have one of those?
Not, you can't handle the truth. I don't have. If you, I had to show you my scene from Empire because I did this little dance in it that everybody pretty much always says when they see me. But I don't have an actual line yet.
Okay.
But I have the little Empire dance that I did in that scene that I did with Empire that everybody seems to bring up a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, we wish you the absolute best.
Thank you
and,
for having me.
And good luck on those commercials and everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yep. So you guys, the time is 8:59 a.m. We're gonna wrap it up today. Oh, actually, I'm forgetting on my own show. The show ends on a positive note. What is your message today for the people of Aurora, Joliet, going into the week?
Life is too short. Life is too short to have anything mess with your peace of mind. And that is something that I've learned and that I currently live by. I turned 40 this year. So I'm like, once I turn 40, I'm determined to have peace of mind. So always go for your peace of mind.
So we hope that you guys enjoyed this morning's show and our conversation with Shayla Day. We really did. To our friends out there who are fellow creatives, to our friends of who do things and perform at shows. We hope that you will remember to stay motivated and keep doing what you're doing. This has been a great episode, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate Shalya, and as I always tell you, take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.